almost everything. It might be a bit fast, but we'll cover almost everything from React.js basic to React.js class based to hooks to lifecycle methods in a class based component to your React Redux, and also a small project. So I'm going to convert all of them in the next 5 days. So today there will be class, then tomorrow Wednesday will be a break, then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday I might take a longer class, because if you are not able to cover everything, so I keep Saturday for that. If you are, I mean, Saturday I always take a class, but what happens sometimes I will generally take only 1 hour class from today, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But on Saturday we can extend for more than 1 hour also. So classes will always be at 8:30 to 9:30. Okay, and this is a certification course also. If you require the certification, then you can click the link in the description. There's a link in the description in which the certification is there. But certification you will not get like that. Once you register for that certification with a minimum fees, you need to complete assignment which will be sent to your email. Okay, so you need to complete that assignment, and then only you'll get the certification. Once we check it, then only you will get a certification. And that assignment you have to complete within 1 week. Okay, 1 week from Saturday, it will be counted from Saturday. Means you can do it from now also, but the 1 week will be counted from Saturday. So if you register today, you will we will have 2 weeks to complete the assignment. Okay, so let's get started. Let me share my screen, because there is a lot to cover in React.js. So this time we will definitely extend on a Saturday, because past two times I have done the CSS playlist, CSS 5 days internship also, and JavaScript also 5 days also we have done. So I never extended for more than 1 day, 1 hour on Saturday also. But this time we can extend more than 1 hour on a Saturday, because React is a bit more to complete in 5 hours, a bit more. But then it is like that. So let's me share the screen to, yeah. So what is React.js? So React.js is a JavaScript library and not a framework like Angular. So this is very important thing to understand. It is not a framework like Angular. So even to have a something like a router, so React router is something, if you go to, suppose home is there, home route is there, then you go to contact, so slash contact, so that is known as routing. So in Angular those things are inbuilt, because I'm also going to take one more thing announcement I want to make. I want to take the Angular 5 day internship after the React 5 day internship. So it will be cherry on the cake. Why it will be cherry on the cake? Because React.js everything. 90% of jobs today are React.js only for a front-end engineer role. 90%, and then the remaining 8% are Angular and 2% are Vue. But the Vue thing is changing fast. What I am getting from the industry, Vue thing is changing fast, but nobody can challenge React. It will always be 90% of the front end jobs, and front end jobs are everything, because all the apps nowadays are front end heavy. Some of the apps may be having a backend, a lot of logic. Backend is still, for bigger apps, Java is the king. But Java, as you know, I always tell people not to go with Java. Okay, that's for a different time. So I sometimes get diverted with all these things. Okay, so what is React.js? React.js is JavaScript library and not a framework like Angular. And one of good thing with this thing, this is that you only need to learn what you need to implement. You don't have to learn everything. In Angular you have to learn everything. Here you don't have to learn everything. A small bit of piece thing you can learn, and then whatever you needed, you need, if suppose you are doing a small project and you don't need Redux in a project, you don't need a central state management in a project, don't learn Redux. Okay, so and it is used to build user interfaces, and focus is on UI, user interface. It has a rich ecosystem. You can add functionality with the help of thousands of Npm libraries. And React, you can add almost everything in React with the help of Npm libraries, from a tender like swiping to everything. Because I have some projects like in that tender like swiping is the left swipe, right swipe. You don't have to implement it from ground up. You can get a library for that. Okay, so all those things are there. Then why learn React.js? Because currently maintained, created and maintained by Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is the one, is the biggest company on the planet, one of the biggest company. So you might have heard FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. So Facebook is in that league. Okay, so it has got more than 159K stars on GitHub. Actually, it is more than that. This is the old slide. And on GitHub, means it's a open source, totally open source. You can see the complete code of ReactJS. Although it is maintained by Facebook, there are a lot of open source developers also associated with React, but Facebook maintains a lot of it. Means although it is a open source, Facebook have their engineers working on this one. And React creator, I think I have not written it. Dan Abramov is React creator. He works on Facebook only. He's a creator of React. Okay, so huge community, means tons of article and Stack Overflow solution, as it is way far ahead of Angular and Vue. See, means it is a distant first. Angular is a distant second, and Vue is a distant third. Okay, so it is like that. It's a huge community. Almost any problem you face, you'll get a solution of Stack Overflow. The most demanded skills of to get a front-end developer job, as usual. As I said, 90% of jobs are there. And on top of it, React Native, which is very much popular for mobile app development, is completely based on React.js. If you know React.js, it doesn't take much time to learn React Native. Okay, hardly it will take 1 day to learn React Native. I have some React Native projects also on my channel. You can check them out. Okay, and it is a component-based architecture. So suppose I am making some YouTube player, some sort of thing. I'll divide everything into component. Okay, and then it has got virtual DOM. Although you don't have to learn much about virtual DOM, and virtual DOM, it is actually this is the power of React. So React doesn't interact directly with the DOM. When you do a JavaScript project, we always see document.get element by ID, document.query select, and all those things. You are interacting with the DOM at that time. Interacting with the DOM is a very slow process, and that is one of the reasons JavaScript was never used in production apps, and there were a lot of issues in that. Means apps used to get very slow. But React, because the virtual DOM, this is a technique which doesn't update the DOM so frequently. It updates something known as virtual DOM. Then whenever it is required, it updates the real DOM behind the scene. So we don't actually need to learn much about virtual DOM, but this is a very big interview question. Okay, so that is there. And then the prerequisite. What are the prerequisites to learn React? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript fundamentals, and ES. Actually, we have learned all these things in the past 2 weeks. So if you want to learn again, you can go back to the playlist. Maybe I will paste them in description. So go back to the playlist and you can learn them again. Okay, HTML, CSS, and ES6. When I was teaching ES6, I told that it is one of the main fundamentals in React.js. Almost every code will have this React ES6 arrow function and all those things. So in JavaScript, which concepts you need? You need this keyword concept, because classes we will use this keyword a lot. Map, reduce, and filter are used. ES6 will use let and const, arrow function, template, literals, default parameters, object literal, rest and operate, rest and spread operator, and destruction. Almost everything. It is like almost everything. Okay, so let me do one thing. Okay, so how to start the React? So you can start a React completely from scratch. Means there is a Babel and a Webpack. I have a video also on my channel. You can see that. Means how to create React from scratch, but nobody does that. Even all companies, they started from here only. Create React app. There is a create React app, so everybody starts from there. This is created by Facebook, so it will do everything behind the scene. Means there is a Babel and a web. Actually the browser doesn't understand anything else than HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Nothing else it understand. So React.js code needed to be converted into JavaScript. That is done by Babel. Okay, all those things are there. Okay, so earlier there were two methods to create a new React app. One was this npm create React app and something, but that method is not there anymore. So earlier we used to do like this, global and all this thing, but they are now telling that we recommend to uninstall. If you're done with that, you have to uninstall it, because you should always do with npx. And as usual for React or anything else, the one of the main thing which is there is that you should have npm install on your system. Say I'm using a Windows system, you can use anything, Windows system, and a bash shell I'm using. So that is there. And from now onwards I will use a lot of terminal, because when you're doing React development, a terminal is required a lot. So when I was teaching HTML, CSS, JavaScript, I didn't use much terminal, but from now onwards I'll use a lot of terminal. So get your terminal basics in. Not that much is required, but yeah, it is required. So this version more than 5 they are telling it is required. If you don't have, you find out some resources how to make the version, how to upgrade the npm version. Okay, and you create a react app like this, npx create react app and anything. So let me give this only my app only, let the first app be from their name. So I will run this command. Okay, and actually it takes 5 to 10 minutes. So it will take time because there are a lot of things which are done here actually. So let it get installed, and let us see one thing. React. So I was telling how much, I was telling 157k. It is, let me update it, 178k. So for the next batch I will say 178k, 178k. And as you can see, the whole, literally the whole of the code of react.js is open source. You can make your own thing also from here. So this is what happened. Okay, someone is saying me hi, so let me reply them back, hi. Okay, so if you want to make your own version of react or add something on top of it, you can do it. It is always possible. So see, there are so many contributors. Okay, and we are done. So nowadays it has become fast, sometimes it happens. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so finally we are getting started, and so it is telling me how to start it. Okay, so it is telling me that first I have to do a cd, then npm start, and happy hacking also it is telling. Okay, so I will do a cd because it created a folder known as my apps, and inside it I have to go my apps, but I will also open it with vs code. So code, I'll do it and open it with vs code. Okay, so vs code I will open, and then they have not given this. So my vs code is in my path. So how to do this? Do a google how to do this, code and space and dot. I have to install vs code on my path variable. So there is something, you search how it is done. It is not directly done, you have to do it. So then you can open vs code from command line, and when you do like this project will open in vs code. You don't have to drag or something like that. Those things are not there. Okay, so npm start, as they're telling, we are doing npm start. So this you have to do npm start. Okay, so npm start is done. It is open in my some other browser. So let me open it here and see. If you get this low, means react is working fine. If you get some error, then you have to fix it. And as I have told, there are a lot of solutions on a stack overflow if you're getting some error. So learn react and all those things are there. So this is the by default what comes. Okay, so the first thing which you are going to do is to learn a bit of the structure of react.js. Okay, so let me increase the font size. So this readme is by default, means you will readme.md, all those things are there. Then this package.json is there, which contains all the things which are installed. So at the end of the day, this is a node.js type of a project because all the npm packages we are using. So by default it comes with react and react dom. Both of them are 17.0.2. This is very important because the current version which I'm using today, 17.0.2. If you see this in the future, it can be 18. React 18 could have also come because every year a new version and version is released, but everything is backward compatible. That's the main thing about react. Everything is backward compatible. Even we'll soon learn one thing. I will not say now, means hooks and class based system. So those things we'll learn. Okay, so package log.json is, it is generally automatically created. Okay, then that git ignore is there. So git ignore is again a very important file because it contains all the folders and all those things which should not go in a GitHub. Okay, so we are going to deploy this in our GitHub. Everybody deploy either code in GitHub. So what happens in such cases, this node module also get inside that. See, this node modules is actually very huge. Means you get only 2 GB of space in GitHub, and if you keep on pushing the node modules, it will be over in 10 projects only. So that is one of the problem with node based project. There's this node modules which contain all the packages. Means right now it contains only React and React DOM, and it is very huge. So we should never give it, and we don't have to touch anything in it. If we don't, this means that node modules will not go to GitHub, get ignored. Okay, so that we have seen. Now the thing which we are going to see is this public. So this public we are going to see. So public, there is something known as index.html. So what is this index.html? So this index.html is there. This is a very important file actually. If you want to use bootstrap or something in a project, also we'll later on see sometimes we have to add it here. Okay, so but that is not the main thing. The main thing is the inside the body, and this React app, whatever it is coming, so this React app is coming from there. Okay, so let me change this. What I will do, learn React I'll do. Okay. Learn React I'll do. Learn React is coming. Hot reloading is there. Everything will be loaded at the moment. Okay, so the main thing is here is this div with ID of root. Okay, div with ID of root is there. This is very important. An empty div is there with the ID of root. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm going to tell another thing. So ReactJS project start from this. There is something known as index.js. So all ReactJS project starts from here. This index.js. So if you're seeing document.getElement by ID root, so I've given the JavaScript. I've taken this JavaScript 5 days internship workshop also. In that also I've told that document.getElement by ID something. If you take, you can get hold of that. So getElement by ID root means this thing. This we are getting hold of that, and this is a React sort of a statement. Not you'll not find it in JavaScript. It's a React sort of a statement. What this tells, this strict mode is okay now. Earlier this strict mode was not there. So this mainly means that React DOM.render the app, this app component. This is a component actually. This app component on document.getElement by ID root. So actually what happens, the whole of your React application, whether it's a 5-line of React application or an enterprise level app like Facebook, contains a lot of React code. Okay, so everything you have to put it here in the ID of root. In the ID of root you have to put, so take this app component and put it in the ID of root. So whole of your React app will actually be done in this. Actually the index.html only is been shown in the browser because the browser understand only index, only HTML, CSS and JavaScript, as I have told. So this HTML it will understand. This HTML is only shown. Okay, and this ID of root is there. This will show the app. So if I come here, right click, inspect, and see this ID of root is there. Okay, so it is like that. Okay, now that is there. Now what is this app? So this is the app, is the starting point, this app component. So we'll see what is in the app component. So if I open, I can also open like app component like this. I had pressed control and then the mouse. So this is actually the thing which you're seeing here. This all logo and all these things. Okay, learn React. So this all these things and it is taking to react.org. So this is all those things which you are seeing. So this is the structure and all. Okay, so this completes the second, this completes a main structure thing. Now we are going to see the main thing. So this till this part I consider the theory type of thing. So now we are going to see one of the main thing. Okay, so let me again go back to the slides because I am coming back. So as I have told earlier, it's a component based architecture. Everything we are going to divide it into components, but Now there are two type of things. Okay, so the first thing is that the stateless functional component. Okay, stateless functional component, they're nothing but JavaScript function. So they're JavaScript functions, like JavaScript, we write function like function also, and we can write it through arrow based function also. So they are nothing but that only. But functional and they, one of, as I have written, one of the main things that they don't have a state. But this is not completely true. Functional component has gone through major changes in React 16.8, which was released in the mid of 2019 and accepted worldwide, because that made React way too much easy. If someone learns React today, they have to learn React hooks, and hooks we are going to learn next. First we are going to learn the class based component, because as I'm telling that it was released in 2019 and the industry accepted it in a larger way in around mid 2020. But still, if so suppose if a project started in also in mid 2020, there are most chances that it will have some class based component. And because the projects in which I have worked last in my corporate career, we are all having class based component and very less hook based component, because the adoption is also high, but not everybody will adopt it also. Okay, and the best thing about React is all is backward compatible, so you can have a project with class based component also and hook based component also. Okay, so if some person is there who doesn't, in bigger projects there are more than 50 front end engineers working in a single project. So if a front end engineer doesn't like class based component, but like a hook based component, they can use a hook based component. And if the seniors like class based component, then go with this class based component. So it is like that, everything is backward compatible. And that's why we will learn about hooks after the class based component, so that we can compare both of them. So as of now, think like the functional component don't have a state like this. Okay, so everything in a stateless function component are backward compatible, I have written. Okay, and the next one is, okay, the so stateful class based component. Okay, so so let us first learn about it, and then we'll go and see some example, because I always love to take example, because that is the way to go. Okay, so stateful class based component, they are ES6 classes. So you'll see this thing, this will extend react component. This is stateful class based component, and they have a render method which returns the HTML. They have a concept of state. They were the first to introduce the concept of state. Okay, so let's get started. And if I come here, index, and this one I will close. If I see this app.js, see, when I started with React in around 2015 16, I started with React 16 to be precise, and very early. So this app.js was there at that time also. This used to be class based component, because there was no concept like this means, and class based component were the main thing in a React. But now React is slowly moving to functional component, and so this one is also functional component. As you can see, this is a functional component. So app is there, inside that we have a return, and normal function is there, and we have to export it also. But the main thing is there, what is React is a, in React, see, this is a JavaScript file, but we have a HTML here. So React is a combination of HTML and JavaScript, and which is known as JSX. We'll learn more about it later on. JavaScript XML. So it contains HTML part also, mainly HTML part, and a bit of JavaScript part also in this thing. Okay, so that's one of the thing React is all about. Some people find it very difficult and to understand this thing, but this is very easy thing. Okay, so just we have an HTML, inside the HTML we have JavaScript. Okay, so this is there. Then what we are going to do, so this is also a functional component, because it is starting with function, but we'll create our own functional component. And for that, what I'm going to do, let me close this. In the src, I will have a new folder. So this is how we generally do it. It is called as components. We'll call it as components. And then here we'll have a something like greet.js. I'll have, and I will tell one thing. I am using a snippet. Again, means we generally will do it a bit fast. I could have typed everything, the skeleton code, just like the on the first day I've shown that HTML code in Amit. You can do it by not and pressing tab. Here also in Amit you don't have that thing, but you can install a lot of extensions are there. So if you come here, and there is this extension ES7 React Redux Graphical, so it has got shortcuts which will give you the skeleton code. Okay, so let me come back here and grid.js. I'll come back again, and here I'll do RAFCE and press tab. So it will give me a arrow function based component. So see, this is a function component, this is also a function component, as I have told in my ES6 lecture that arrow functions are also there. So this is a function, normal function, and this is an arrow function. I could have written function greet also, but what I'm doing here, I am writing a this arrow function. Okay, and then as I've told, this is JSX. So why to return a div? What we return, I will do return h1 and hello React, save it. But actually nothing will happen. It will still see this thing, nothing is happening, it will still seeing this. Why it is like that? Because we have to add this grid, and okay, let us do this like this. We have to add this grid in the app.js, and generally what we do in the app.js, this all it is a boilerplate code sort of. We remove all these things. You don't want to see this in a app, your real app. So this is just like that dummy text, not dummy text, it is like something which is coming in built, and you have to always have to remove this thing. Okay, so and put your own. Okay, so generally what people do like this, they remove it, and here logo I will also remove. Then I will have a like this grid, I'll have this. So like this I will have. So and most of the React components are self-closing, so I could have used that also, like ending, like div is starting and ending is there. I'll show the use case of that also, but most of the time you will self-close the component. So this is how React code works. So I'm using the component grid here, and I also have to import it from the correct part. See, it is inside the components, I have to import from the correct part, and this was automatically taken by Amit. But if it is not automatically taken, you have to do it manually, write the correct part. So if I save it, and if I come back here, see, hello React has been shown. Hello React has been shown. So this is how to show the component. This is also how it's shown a functional component. I want to show one more thing here. See, this is this which we are doing, it is known as default export. Most of the time we're going to do like this only, but there is another way to do this. Okay, so I will remove this one sec, and I will do a export const. So if I come here, it will give me doesn't contain a default export, it will give me an error. Why? Because now this grid is there, I have to give a curly bracket here, and this is known as named export, or named export. This is known as named export. Okay, and named import. So this curly bracket you have to take. So the main thing is that you can have 4-5 exports like this here, export const, great export const, all those things, and we will not get the error also right now. Again, the error has gone. But generally in the components we don't do it like this, we'll do it like this only. But this way also you'll see a lot of places in React code when we have multiple exports. Okay, multiple exports, you'll see this kind of code. Okay, so now that is done. Now we will see class-based component in action. So class-based component in action we'll see. So app.js, I'm here, and in components I'm here, and here I will say a welcome.js I'll do. And then again, so class-based component are different than functional component. Okay, so the shortcut here is RCC, and export default we can do it here also, but I generally do it below, and most of the people you'll see they will do it below only, and welcome. Okay, and React, the semicolon is not necessary. So somewhere you see that even in JavaScript it is not necessary. and it was made recently, I think in 2015 only. So sometime it is, you can give it also, you cannot give it also. Sometime I give it, some time I don't give it, and it's okay. Okay, so like this, see, this is totally different than our functional component. Okay, so we have a class which is extending from components. So it is an inheritance which is doing from component is from React. So this extends, so this is the concept of ES6 classes, which was released in 2015. And this classes seems almost similar like a Java or a C++ class, but internally it is different, but externally it is almost like that only. Okay, so after that, this render is there. So render is important. So there was no render here, directly the return was there. But in class-based component, we have a render function, which is very much important, or it will give error. Inside the render, we have this return. So this is very important to understand. We'll learn more about this render later on, but this render is very much important. Okay, so instead of this div, I will give a p, and I'll write welcome to the world of React. Save it. Again, it will not come if I go back. I think it is okay. I have not yet changed it. Okay, anyways, the welcome will not come. So again, we have to show the welcome here. So come here and do a welcome and import it and show it, and it is done. So if I come here, see, welcome to the world of React. So this is how React we will have in the app.js is sort of a root component. Index.js starts, but we'll always have all the components called from here. App.js, so grid, welcome. So you can have a lot of components one after the another. So you can divide your whole project. Suppose like a header is there, a body is there, a footer is there. All this you can do it. Okay, so that is there. Then nothing much. Okay, so just see some quickly we'll see some text. And so the different functional component features are this simple function func keyword, stateless dump presentation, which is not true, and absence of this keyword that makes it very powerful. But a lot of things are now, I don't tell, because functional component are not dumb component. They were earlier they were told stateless dump presentational, but now it is not there. Hook, and they are the future of React. Actually, because of the hooks, they are the future. Slowly, actually, React have not deprecated class-based component, and it can never deprecate the class-based component. But slowly, everything is moving on hooks, because when I work with some libraries like React Router or Redux, they always have hook-based components. So these big libraries like Redux and React Router are two of the biggest library which we will always use in React, and I'm going to have some very good videos on those soon on my channel. So on Wednesday I do like that only. So Wednesday videos will be like that, some good React topics. And Wednesday's videos I generally do at 2 p.m. Okay, 2 p.m. live. Most of the things on my channel live only nowadays. Okay, so functional class-based component more feature is maintain their own private data state. Function also do that. Complex UI logic, provide lifecycle hooks. Yeah, this is one very important thing. Provide lifecycle hooks. So this is a plus point also, and this is a negative point also. Provide lifecycle hooks. We're going to learn about that. This is a pain for everyone. Lifecycle hooks were very complicated when with class-based component. And functional component, they are made easier with the concept of hooks, like use state hooks, use effect, not use state hook. There is something known as use effect hook, which we are going to see. It has made the class-based functional component very much easy. And I have written hooks also. Hooks are there, means no breaking changes, completely optimized, 100% background coverage. Bring two powerful feature of class-based component. One is the state, and the other is the lifecycle methods. Two functional component, these two things, it is bringing state and the lifecycle method. And you should always learn after class based, because then only you will learn what is lifecycle method and all. Okay, so enough of theory, and we'll go ahead now with our React journey. Okay, and this one is also done. Okay, so Now we will learn into brief about JSX. Okay, so not JSX is full form is extension of JavaScript syntax, and JavaScript XML also you can say. I mean, its full form is JavaScript XML. So whatever the code we are seeing here, the weird kind of code, because we have not seen the more weird kind of code, because we can have JavaScript also inside it. So that is known as JSX. JSX have tag name and all those things is there. Yes, okay. That is okay. So JSX. Okay. So some JSX differences we'll learn along the way. Means class. See, in a HTML code, if you want to add some CSS, so CSS is add mostly in a normal way in React only. So if you add some CSS, what will happen in a class-based component? Uh, See, we also already have a class here. Okay, if I add another class here, so we are having class here also. So in React it is not allowed, means you can use it but it will give you a big warning. So instead of class here, which is a CSS class, because we give CSS class like this, you have to use something known as class name. Class name you have to use, like this camel case, class name you have to use. So those 2 3 things are there. On click is also, React uses a lot of camel case, so on click you also you have to use like that. Okay, so that is there. So CSS we will learn as we go along. Okay, so now we are going to learn about one of the most important concept in React, which is known as props. Props we are going to learn. Okay, so props is something which get so there are 2 most important concept in React. One is props and another is state. If you know these 2 things, means 70% of React is done. React is actually very small JavaScript library, not that much big. As I've told, everything get added when we want to use something new. So props is there. Props is nothing but you pass data from one component to another, that is through props. From one component to another, data is passed, that is prop. State will look later on. Okay, so first let us look at the props. Okay, so suppose, okay, this grid component is there. Okay, and here I want to pass some data. So let me do this, comment this out. So this is how we comment it out. So control and backslash have given, and this is how we comment inside a JSX, and outside it is normal way, normal double check, and inside it the comment is like this. Okay, this curly bracket and this weird kind of stuff we have to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, this grid I'm going to pass some data. Okay, so let me also name equal to JavaScript, and this quotes we are doing. So this name is the props name, and this is the value which I'm going to pass. So this name is not mandatory. You can have anything you can have, and this obviously you can have anything in this, but this name is there. Okay, so control C, control VB, and this is Golang, and this is shift, anything you can do, and save it. So but nothing will go right now. Okay, hello React has been shown, because this is what we have been showing from here. So now I don't want to show hello React, I want to show whatever is in past, the JavaScript, Golang and Swift. Okay, so this is known as the parent component, and grid is known as children component, because from there it is called. So in the children component, what I will have, this is for functional. So functional for class, function and class base, both of them are different. So for functional I'll see props, I'll do grid props, I'm doing. Okay, grid props I'm doing. And then let us see one thing, what is there in this props, clg props, what is there in this props. Okay, so let me see it, save it, come here, right click, inspect, console, see this props, 3 times it is called, it is an object, and this is object, it is having this name of JavaScript name. So it is actually an object. Props is nothing but an object, and to access something from an object, so I have to give that object dot name. So I want to access the name, which is props dot name. So now how to access this props.name here? So this is where again the JSS kicks in, and I'll do it here like this, and then props.name. I'll do props.name. And this curly bracket is very important. Whenever you want to show some variable inside the JSX, as I've told, we'll learn JSX along the way. So whenever you want to show some variable with JSX, you have to give this curly bracket props.name. Save it. And then I'll come back here and see hello JavaScript, hello Golang, hello Shift. Make it a bit smaller. Okay, so all these things are getting shown. So this is what is about how do we pass the props. Okay, so there is another type of props which are known as children, and mostly will pass but like this only. Props means, but you'll find this also in a lot of use cases. Maybe in 10% of the use cases you'll do, because it is required sometime. Okay, so this thing, as I've told, most of the time you will self close it, but there is another way to close it also, and that is the normal way in which your HTML tag is closed, like this way, like this way it has been closed. And language of the web, language of iOS apps, save it, come back here, nothing is there. Okay, so one thing, let me refresh it. So see, now one of the main thing is there. See, name is going there. Okay, JavaScript name is there. Now this object, this first object contains something known as children also. So where is this console coming from? Console is coming for the props. So this props contains something known as a children also. We have not written anything like children or something there. So whatever is in passed inside this two brackets, inside this, they're known as children. So this is a children. So this children is language out of web, language out of web. So if it is children, so we can easily show it. So you might have guessed how we'll show it. So now let me do one thing. Let me take it here. Let me take it here. And let me take it. Let me take a p tag, and let me show the props dot children, props dot children, and props dot children I'll do, and it should show, but it is giving some red error. Let's see what is that red error. Save it. If I go back, I will get some big red errors. Adjacent JSX element must be wrapped in an enclosing tag, and it is giving exact how to fix it. Do you want a JSX fragment like this? Yes, we do want. So in React there is a rule inside this return statement, whether it is inside a class base or a function, it doesn't matter. The rule is that it should start and end with something. So if it is starting with h1, it just end with also h1, but we cannot do it like this because we want paragraph tag also. One way is to do it through the old way, is to do it through div, wrap it with a div. So what happened with wrapping with it, see, the error will be gone. Save it, and we'll not get the error, and we will see those things. Okay, that I'll come back to that one sec. So the error will be gone, but this div used to cause a lot of problem in the earlier code. Means what happens in bigger project, div is a block level element, and what it used to do means, if you know something about Flexbox or Grid, so if we are applying the Flexbox or a Grid on a parent, and this we don't want it to be a children, then also it will become a children, and it used to break a lot of CSS and a lot of issues with it. That's why fragment were introduced. Fragment means nothing, as if there is nothing there, even not a span tag, as if it is nothing there. Not a block level element. Definitely div is a block level element, so it carries some problems. So fragment, earlier we used to give like react.fragment, but those all things are gone. Or you could have given like fragment. So I'm not going to tell the older because nobody uses like that. So you have to give like this, an empty thing, empty, and you don't have to import or something like that. Earlier we used to import something, so you have to give like this, curly bracket and this. Save it. Okay, save it. Then I've saved it. Now go back and see language of the web, language of the iOS app, because these props of children is coming only in this would this is still we are going it like this. Okay, so we are done here, and now we are going to see it in a always a class based component. Okay, welcome we are going to see. Okay, and let me do one thing. I'm not done this earlier. Let me do HR also here. So see one more thing in HR. In a normal HTML we can omit this, but in React we cannot omit this. In HR I have to give this self and closing horizontal rule. So this welcome is there, and again the same thing we are going to do, like name equal to Flutter, and again we will directly do the children thing because we now understood what is the children. So language for cross mobile development. Okay, and then here I'll have a React native, and this one I will self close actually like this, and the last one I will have a Java, and but instead of passing something I'll pass a button. So you can pass a button or anything you can pass. So you can have a pass a button also like this. Click Java, save it, but anyways it will not show. Why it will not show? Welcome is not defined. Okay, I have actually commented this, so it will show like this, welcome to the world of React and all those things, because we are not using it. Okay, so we have to use it. So this p tag I don't want like this. Instead of this I want, okay, one more thing. See, in a class based component you don't have any thing to pass the parameter like this props, you don't have. So there, here, that this keyword comes into play. So that's why this is very important in class based component. This dot props dot title will do. This dot props dot title, no, not props dot title. This dot props dot children we are going to do. And now actually we have to wrap, because we are going to have another thing. So wrap it with a fragment, and here h1 I'll take, and welcome this dot props dot name. This dot props dot name I'm going to do, and see welcome Flutter and welcome this Java and all these things are come. So this dot props dot name, here it is only props dot name. This keyword is attached. This keyword is attached for the children. Same thing. Okay. Yeah, functional component are always better. Functional component we will start from day 3 a bit, and if you want to work in a company you have to use class based component, because even if a project is 1 year old it will have class based component. My last project in my last company was using completely class based component, and old people don't want to change that fast, and the architect only will decide everything, not a junior developer. So they will still class based component will go for the next 5-6 years. They will not be main thing, but class based component will go for the next 5-6 years easily. So you have to learn, and you have to learn class based component to learn what is the pain and how functional components are better. Okay, so one sec. So this we have done. Okay, so hope it answered your question, Abid. Okay, so we have done this. Now we are going to learn about state, which is the second most important concept in React. Okay, second, I think it is the most important concept in React, even more than props. Props are very easy. So you have seen this props is so much easy, but the state is something in which people really struggles. Okay, so let us learn that, and I think we're going to cover this much only today because it's only already a lot of time. So we are going to have counter.js, and counter.js I'm going to have, and from now onwards we'll have mainly class-based component, because as I told, for 2 days we are going to learn class-based component, and on day 3 functional component we are going to do hook-based functional component. Functional component we'll see, but most of them we will not use the state. So hook-based things we will do on day 3. Stay tuned for that. And for 2 days, class-based component takes more time. Hook-based, it will take only 1 day. Okay, so counter is there, and then RCC functional component, export default counter. So again, a class-based component I have taken. So now we are learning about state, and for state we have to have something known as a constructor. So this constructor is there. There is shortcut for that also. Rconst I'm going to have, and then this super props is required in a constructor. Why it is required? Because we are extending from component, so sort of inheritance is this. So super props is required, and then we have a state variable known as this dot state, and then we'll have a count of 0. Count of 0 we are taking. Count is 0. Okay, so state is an object which have a count. You can have a lot of other state variables also, but right now we have this only. Okay, then after this div is there, and then count is this dot state dot count, just like this. So you have to so see, if I want to access this is obviously this dot state dot count, this dot state dot count. Okay, save it, and now we have to show it. So we are seeing this, all these things is there, so we'll remove all these things actually, and we are going to have this counter like this, and I also have to import it, okay, like this, or else it will not be shown. So if I come back here, count is 0, it has been shown. Count of 0, it has been shown. This dot state dot count. But now the main thing is not this. The main thing is to, let me have it as a h1. It will be much better. Okay, yeah, it is much better. Okay, so the thing is that we want to increment this count, because this is a counter example, so we want to increment this count. So how to increment the count? So the way to increment the count is to have a, okay, let me have this. Again, I will have this fragment, because what I'm going to have here, I'm going to have a button here, button, and this button will say increment, and on click will be there, and this dot. So on click, see, another thing different from HTML, it is camel case. On click, this dot increment count. So what is this dot increment count? Increment count is a function which we have to create. Increment count is a function which we have to create, and I will take this function here. We'll create this function here, increment count, and we will do like this dot set state. So one thing is there which I want to tell. So this code, this dot set state, The only way to change a state is through this dot state. We cannot do like this dot state is equal to, so one thing you might have think, okay, whenever I do increment this count, what I will do, this dot state dot count equal to this dot state dot count plus 1. So I will do a plus 1 plus 1. No, you cannot do like this. We'll see why you cannot do like that. But the thing is that you cannot do like that. You always have to use this set state to increment a state variable, and inside that you have to pass like this, count is this dot state dot count plus 1. Okay, so save it, and everything is okay. So this will come, and I click on it, and I get an error. The error is this cannot read property of undefined. So this is not a set state problem. So this problem is because in this is a JavaScript problem. So this happens because of this is not defined inside this increment count. I'll not go detail into this because this is a very huge topic and it requires more than 1 hour to explain why this is uh, behaving weirdly. And this is one of the reasons the functional component came into picture. This was way too much complicated in React class-based component, because this is a complicated topic itself in JavaScript. This is such a complicated topic. There is a whole book, more than 300-page book written on this keyword itself. This is a very internal mechanism, and but the main thing is that you should see that the scope of this is not been set. So we have to scope of this is not been set to this function. So there is a way to solve it, and we will use that here. So way to solve it here is that we'll see the easiest way. Okay, so make this a arrow function like this. We'll see 4 ways to solve this issue. Okay, so arrow function, we can make it like this and save it, and then if I go back here and increment count, it is not incrementing. Okay, it is not incrementing because when you do like this, we have to do the function call itself. Okay, so now if I go and increment count, it will increment. Okay, it will increment properly and it is working properly. Okay, so one more thing, as I was telling that we cannot directly increment the state. Okay, so let us see if we directly increment the state, what will happen. Okay, so let me comment this out, and I'll do a this dot state dot count equal to this dot state dot count plus 1. Okay, like this I'll do, and clg this dot state dot count I'll do. Okay, these 2 things I'll do, and so I should think that okay, it should work like this. Okay, so I'll come back here, open the console and increment it. 1, it is done. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See here and see here, nothing is getting incremented. So what is happening? Actually the state variable is getting incremented, but it is never coming in the DOM. So this is actually what has been shown in the DOM. This is the virtual DOM and all. So why it is not coming? See, there is a rule. This render method runs again only if the state or the props get changed, and to change the state we can only do it through set state. So if we use this dot set state, then only this render method get runs, and then only it will come to know the state has changed. So for this render method to run, this dot set state is very much required. So that's the reason we do it like this. Okay, so now I will remove this. I will bring one more thing I want to show. This thing I'll bring down, and let me do this. Okay, again let me do this. Okay, save it, and now if I come back, click it, and again it will start incrementing it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. But see one thing. Okay, yeah, we can use this bind in this dot on click. Yeah, actually we are going to see 4 method in the tomorrow. We are going to see 4 methods. There are a lot of ways. 4 methods are there to be precisely. And that bind in the state, that is a bit of old method. This is a much newer method than this, and there is a one newer method even than this. Okay, that we can see later on. Okay, so that is one more issue is there. See, this 4 is there, and 1 to 3. See, it is 4, it is 3, it is 5, it is 4. So why it is this happening? So this is happening because set state is asynchronous. So this console.log is called before even the state is set. So this is because it doesn't means this dot set state is called, and 5. Okay, so when this dot set state is called, it changes the state, and after that, so it does it instantaneously, and after that only the console.log is happening. So this is always one behind it. It will always be one behind it, although we'll not see much issues in that, but this can be issues sometime. So how to solve this? So to solve these things, we have another thing, like I'll do like this. I'll take this console log, Control X, and here I will come, comma, like this, and this is a arrow function. Whenever we do like this is a function call. That's why I told that ES6 is very much important, which if you don't know ES6, or if you are not learn ES6, go through my JavaScript 1 week intensive workshop previous week which I have taken, and there is on, I think on day 4 I have done ES6. So on Friday, previous Friday I have done ES6. Go through that one and you will learn about it. Okay, so what is this arrow function and all those things. Okay, so this I will do, and that console.log which I have done, I'll do it here, and okay, save it, come back, 1 1 2 2 3 3. So this will run this first, then it will only go. So this is the second parameter which we can pass. Okay, so there is one more thing which I want to tell before we say it as an ending. So instead of this increment count calling directly, okay, let me, okay, also remove this thing. You don't require it all the times. Okay, I will call a function known as increment 5 times, and here increment 5 times, and it will call this dot, I don't know why it is coming, this dot increment count, so like this it will call it 5 times. So nothing but it will call it 5 times. Okay, save it, no error is there. Okay, so now if I click on increment, I will think that okay, I should have kept that thing here, my bad. Yeah, keep it here. Okay, so I will do it. Why what 5? Okay, why it is coming? Okay, so I'll increment this count 1, but now my function is there, it's different, increment 5 times, it should increment it 5 times, but see this 1 only has been shown 5 times, this it is only shown 2, only is shown 3 times, 5 times. So why it is this happening? So in React, this is a very special case. What happens in React, so if it sees that set state is done in quick succession, here it is done in quick succession, so what it does for performance optimization, it will consider it as 1 only, it will group them as 1. So in this kind of special cases, what we need to do, we cannot work with the state directly. So there is something known as previous state, and that previous state thing which you will see at a lot of places. Means this is a special case, but this you should do only if you face some issue. So in here what happens, so now I can remove this because this, or else it will get complicated. Instead of calling this dot state dot count, I will call this previous state, and previous state is not called like this. It is actually, let me remove this or else it becomes very much complicated. Okay, so I will have this prev state, not a state but previous state, and then this will do sort of a function call, and then I will have this count is not this dot state dot count plus one, this is previous state plus count, previous state dot count plus one. Okay, save it. So previous state, we are changing the count based on the previous state. Come here and then remove this, increment the count 5, 10, 15, 20. So it is working fine. And with this we are ending actually today's class, and hope you liked it, and I extended a bit more. Actually I have a class at 10, means my I take full-time boot camps also. So for working professional, I take a boot camp at 10 or 10 p.m. So if you want to be a part, if you want to learn from that boot camp, yep, check out my courses. Those are there, means every month, means those boot camps are quite big, means it's a 1.5 month to 2 months. Sometimes I have to go slow also for working professionals. So 1.5 to 2 months boot camp, but I give a lifetime support also after that. But whatever support you need, whether in a job or something, see, I have a lot of contacts in the industry. After working in the industry for the past 16 years, I do have a lot of contact, and ReactJS is such a hot thing that you won't even need to ask for a job if you know ReactJS. So if you want to get a job today in India, ReactJS is the way to go, or anywhere else in the world. It is not just India, anywhere else in the world. Job, freelancing, everything is there if you just know ReactJS. Okay, so that is there. And so I will end today's call here, and tomorrow we'll be connected at same at 8:30 p.m. and we'll complete the class-based component tomorrow itself, or maybe day after tomorrow, because class-based component is a bit longer, because the lifestyle also matters. Also, I need to tell maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, but we'll soon have hooks. Okay, so with this I will end today's streaming and see you all tomorrow. Hope you like it. Please do subscribe to my channel if you're not yet done.